Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to this tutorial on how to template a GTA vehicle. So the process is relatively straightforward. I'm going to show you how I do it on a CSR2 model I just converted. This is the Ferrari 12 Cylindri. So first of all, what you first want to check is the body paint texture, the one that's responsible for all the paint on the car. You want to check that it's under the vehicle paint 3 material category. You'll be able to assign it in here, this button right here, GTA 5, vehicle paint and paint 3. Once you've assigned it, make sure you have vehicle generic small spec map in detail. Make sure you have a template placeholder. I'll include one in the description below. You can download it. What you want to do is get the spawn name of your car. Navigate to... I usually create a template folder in my project. And then drag the DDS file in there and then rename it with the spawn name of your car. Underscore sign underscore 1. Very important that you name it that way. Then you want to import it into detail 2 right here, and then usually you don't have to touch the rest of the textures. Alright, so now that you've got your material configured properly, what you want to do is hide all right here and go one by one and find the paint elements you want to template. Right here I have a few paint elements, but these are configured to the body 1 material, which is basically a paint material group, but I do not want these templated. I recommend any painted mesh parts you do not want in your template. I recommend you create another material, paint 1, put a small spec map in detail, and yeah, just basically put body paint 1, and it'll exclude the this part from your template. Okay, so cycle through all of the parts you have on your vehicle until you find paint. So on body shell I have some paint. Great. MISC I no, MISC G no. These are all lights, don't have anything on there. Spoiler no. Doors, okay, I have some on there. Boot, bonnet. Alright, so now that you've selected all your parts that contain body paint, what you then want to do is go one by one on each of the parts. I'm going to start with bonnet right here. You want to then go to polygon edit mode right here. What you now want to do with, in my case, the bonnet I've just selected, you want to separate the faces so that you have the left and right template sides and the top of the template. What I usually do during this process, because right now I have the bonnet that is going to have to be templated on the top and on the sides. In your case, the bonnet may only have to be templated at, in the top view. You may not have any side parts on your bonnet. If so, you don't need to touch it. You can just leave it as it is and go to the next part. Right now I have some side faces that I have to template onto the side of the template. So I am going to detach the paint parts that are associated to the side of the bonnet. So what I usually do is I go into left mode right here and I select a bunch of faces. Then what I go and do is in the top view I see which faces you can see better in top and side. Here we can see these faces better in side view than in top, and here I guess, yeah, we can see then better in top view. So what we want to do is stop here at this line right here, and we want to select based off that line that we just so go ahead and click and drag, but make sure to hit shift while you do so. This will ensure that you're not going to lose the previous faces that you've selected. Very important. Okay, so we want to follow this line right here. Follow this line. Perfect. So now that we've selected all the faces on the side of the bonnet, we then want to make sure that all the faces we've selected by accident, we see here that the bonnet on the 12 cylindry is kind of beveled inwards. So we want to deselect all the faces on the top. Make sure to do a few passes right here. Make sure to not include in your rectangle right here none of the faces you've selected. Yeah, I missed a face right here. Great. Then what I usually do, I go to the select submenu. I go to buy material, and then I want to deselect. I want to firstly choose all of the materials that are not associated to paint 1, so all of those right here, and hit deselect. This will deselect all the faces associated to a material that is not paint, which is exactly what we want. Now, once you've done that, you can go to detach, and you're going to first make sure that you have all these settings enabled and the middle one disabled. You then want to hit detach. Perfect. And now you should have your top separated from the side of your bonnet, which is great. Now, in my case, I have LODS on this car, levels of detail. So what I want to do for each LOD on this car, I want to separate roughly the same area than I did on the first LOD, just so I can template all the LODs easily. Alright, I've separated all the LODs on this part. So now we have the side parts right here, and we have the top part right here of the template. Everything is separated correctly. We can now move on to the next part. Next part is the boot. So here we have paint that's going to be part of the top of the template, and here we have a part that's going to be on the back view of the template. So what we want to do, same process as before, go to the view, to the back view right here, and I just want to select roughly all the faces that we can see on the back. Great, that should do. And now just go to select, buy material, and then deselect all the materials that are not paint, and then detach. Great. Then I'm going to repeat that step for all my LODs. Perfect. I now have the boot totally separated, ready for templating. Now on the door, so I first want to check what is actually paint, what is not actually paint. So I'm going to select the paint material right here, and I see that the mirror needs templating. What I'm going to do, it'll make it easier to work with later on, is I am going to separate the mirror. What I usually do is I click the select separated and then right click when a face pops up right here, and then you'll select usually all the paint. You may need to do a few clicks on a few faces to get all of the mirror. But you basically want to grab the mirror and, same as before, detach it. And I'm going to do the same for the LODS. Okay, great. I have now the mirror that is detached, ready to be templated. We have it on the driver's side right here, and now we've got to do the passenger side mirror. We've got to detach the passenger side mirror. There we go. Now same for all of the LODs. Great. Now the passenger side door is all prepped up. Now what do we have next? We have bodyshell. You may have extra parts. You may have a bumper F, a bumper R. In my case, I do not. I have all the parts linked to the same bodyshell. And what you want to do is, I usually start at the front, right here, and you want to decipher which part goes to the top of the template, maybe bottom of the template. I don't know. I'll probably map it to the same viewport, all of this. And then we have this part right here that should be on the front, and these on the side. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the side split first. So I'm going to go into left view, and I'm going to select all the parts that should be going on the side. So same process as before. I usually go into front view, left view, and see which faces we can see better on each side. Probably see them better here. So I'm going to stick with this for the moment. I'm going to go back into user view. Going to verify that I have no extra faces selected on each side. I do here. I'm going to deselect those. Great. And now, this is not the only side part of the body shell, so I'm going to select all of this. This is a side part. I'm also going to select all of this as well. And now I've got to do same as before. I've got to separate on the bumper which faces go on the left and which faces go on the back. So I reckon here, this line right here would be good to separate on. So I'm going to select, as before, select all the faces. Perfect. So now we have all the side selected. Make sure you have no extra faces selected on the line. Here I got some extra faces, deselect those. I'm going to make sure I have no faces selected right here. Deselect here and deselect here. Great. So now you have all the side parts of the body shell selected. I've just noticed that we may want to map this part to the top. Actually, this is kind of more to the side, so I'll keep that on the side, but you do want to take caution when you map parts a bit beveled like this. You want to make sure that you are not mapping a flat surface to the side when it could be mapped to the top. Here we have better visibility on the top right here, but better visibility on the side up here. So I'm going to choose to leave that on the side. You don't want to separate too much. You don't want to put too much work into separating inside the same like panel, let's say. I'm going to keep this mapping strictly to the side right here. So then same step as before, select by material, deselect all materials that are not paint, and then detach. Then I'm going to do the same process for my LODS. There we go, I have all the sides of my body shell separated. Now we have front, rear and top. So I'm going to keep the body shell by default to the top. I'm going to separate the front right here. Going to separate it like that. It'll make things easier later on. There we go, got the front separated. Now I want to separate this little part and have it kind of to the side. So I'm going to separate this. Same for the LODS. And now finally I want to grab the rear bumper. That's going to be mapped to the back part of the template. Alright, so now that we've got all the parts separated, we can now go on to creating the actual template. So this part I reckon is the hardest, the separating part, but now it's going to be quite easy from here, pretty straightforward as well. So what you're going to want to do is choose a part to template first, a view to template first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to template the side first. So you want to activate all your parts that are mapped on the sides. I'm going to select the doors as well. Doors can be mapped to the sides. Bonnet as well here, and I think we are good like that. So what you want to do, select everything, go to polygon edit mode, go back to 3D, back to left so you have a clean viewport. Want to get UV mapper ready right here, the UV mapper, and what you want to do is basically in user mode select all the left part of the car like this, go into select by material and deselect all the materials that are not paint. Then go to right click on your model, and now that you have selected everything, make sure, very important, that you have the selected button enabled right here. Make sure that it's red. Then go right click on your model, mapping, edit UV. What you want basically is to edit the UV channel map to 2, generate new, compact fragments to objects from viewport XY, and you don't want to touch anything else. Go to OK, and now if you go to material right here in your UV mapper, you should have the first part of your livery template that is mapped. Now all the LODs are mapped onto all the body shell LODs are mapped because we've separated it multiple times, and we have them into separate objects here. But for the door, in my case, I have LODS on the door, and I haven't separated them. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to actually I'm going to put those back on. I'm going to click isolate on the door, and I am going to select paint, right click, mapping, edit UV, generate new. Do not move around in this viewport, keep it left, and do not move in the viewport, otherwise it will be misaligned when you re-click to edit UV. And I want to repeat the process for every LOD. Great. Now the whole left side of the car is mapped. This is exactly what we want. Now we can go and focus on the right side. So before I start to map the right side, I want to go into Object Level of Addition and move the left template we just generated a bit to the right, so that it doesn't clash with the other template we are going to generate. So go back to Polygon Edit Mode, and same step as before, just select everything by material, deselect all of the materials that are not paint. Great. Now right click as before, generate new from viewport XY. You should have your settings saved. Alright, and now we have the right side. I'm just gonna map the rest of the door. Oh, you see I accidentally scrolled in here, so I changed the view. I'm going to show you what it's like if you change the view and you try to map something onto the same. It'll be kind of misplaced, misscaled. So in that case, what you want to do is get a clean slate, go back to right, and then remap. Okay, I templated all the LODs on the right view of the car. Now what you want to do, straight out of the bat, is go and set your pivot point with X right here, and then use rotate and rotate it 180 degrees. Now you want to find a point that matches on both of the cars, like this one right here, and align it as such. And then you just want to hit the V axis and just move it up. Like that we have place for the top view in the middle. Great. Now we are going to map the top view. So I'm going to select the bonnet right here. I am going to also select the boot. I'm going to the top view of the boot. Great. The body shell as well, this top part of the body shell, and also the part that I've separated on the bumper level. Just going to verify that it doesn't clash with any other parts. I'm just about good. Great. So now go into top view and basically repeat the same steps as before. I usually go into user, so it's easier to select everything. Go into polygon, select paint, I just noticed I forgot to enable most of the LODs. If you don't have any LODs, you don't have to worry about LODs, obviously. If you do have LODs, though, it's important to map all of your LODs. So I'm just going to regenerate right here. As we can see, template changed. All the LODs are generated for the bottom part of the bumper. Great. Now I still have all the LODS of the different parts to map. So I'm going to deselect all the parts I've already mapped for and go and change LOD level. Go to polygon edit mode, select everything, all the paint materials, and there we go. Now what you want to do, once you map the top part of your template, you want to move it roughly around here, rotate it 90 degrees, don't forget to set the pivot point, and we want to align it with, I'm going to use this point right here, but you can use any kind of point that matches between the side view and the top view. Roughly put it in the middle, great. Cool, now we want to map the front and back of the car. Now, I'm going to use hide all, and I'm going to do the rear bumper. So, enable all your rear bumper parts, go to back, and I also just remembered that in the boot we separated a back part right here. So I'm going to select those, I'm going to select all of this, go back into back mode so we have a clean slate. I'm not going to go into polygon level right here because I know that all the materials that are here are paint. Because I've detached them earlier on, I can ensure that all of those have the paint material. So what I want to do, I don't need to go into polygon level, I can just right click, mapping, edit UV, generate new, from XY, and there we have it. We have the rear bumper. What I usually do right here is move it towards the top of the template. You can leave it here for the time being, and we are now going to want to map the front of the car. So we are going to hide all of the objects we previously used. Going to not this one, yeah, this one, good. So we're going to select all the parts that are linked to the front of the car, and basically go to front view and right click, mapping, edit UV, make sure you have UV channel map set to 2, and there we have it. We have the front part of the template. And the last step is templating the mirrors. So we detached them from the doors earlier on, so we have them all here. And what I usually do for the mirrors is I select a cover. I usually get a nice clean view of most of the mirror, and then I right click, mapping, edit UV, and generate a mapping. Now that you've mapped your left mirror, you want to go ahead and map the right mirror. Roughly same process. Try and get the most coverage, and just mapping, edit UV, generate new. Great. So if we select the right mirror, we notice that it's bigger than the left one, so we're going to scale it down right here. Scale it down like so. And what I usually do is I'm going to place the mirrors on the top left of the template. We are now going to be placing all of the parts we've generated a template for in the actual template. So I'm going to place that on the top left. Very good, like that. And now grab the rest of the template and then fit it into this little canvas. So right here we are good. I'm going to scale up the rear bumper right here. So place pivot point, scale up, and same for the front bumper. Cool. and now you have a full template. So right now I have all the LODs templated as well, so it may look a bit messy. What I usually do is I show all, because you want everything to be visible so that you can render the template correctly. We're going to hit L0 here and then click on this render UV button. Usually what I tend to work with is output image width 4096, same for the height. I usually have these settings, so feel free to copy them if you want. A white underlayer texture, and basically you want to hit render. And here you should have all your template that has rendered correctly. You will then click save, and then you basically want to find your project, go into template, and then save it. I usually name mine all LODS template because I have templated all the LODs. I am then going to generate a new template. So what I can then do, I can go back to UV Mapper, and now what we want to do, if you remember correctly, we've separated a few parts, notably the body shell. We have top, left, etc. What we want to do is attach them back to the original bone. So you want to go into isolate mode, most likely. You want to click on the part of the body shell that you've separated, go to the main part, and then basically attach it back to it. I'm going to do the same process for the LODs that I've detached as well. And now I'm going to do the same step, but for the front parts that I've detached. Alright, I've now reattached all the body shell parts together. Now you want to repeat the same process for every part you've separated. Alright, we should have everything attached back together now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show all. I'm going to select everything, go to polygon edit mode. If you want to verify that you did your template correctly, you can select by material your paint material, and you want to right click mapping, edit UV, and click keep old mapping. Also make sure you have edit UV channel map set to 2, and here you see we have our UV mapping that is correct. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to generate another time for the first level of LODS, because I generated for all LODS, but it may be a bit messy, so I'm going to create a L0 template for it to be more clear to see. And there we go. You have now templated your car. Congratulations. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, leave them in the comments down below. If you're interested in learning how to make a GTA mod from a CSR2 3D model like I did right here, you can check the description box down below. I'm in the process of making a to Z comprehensive guide, A to Z walkthrough on how to build a GTA mod from a CSR2 3D model. I have built this whole 12 cylindry while recording this tutorial. It's not out yet, I'm currently working on it, but by the time you watch this video it may be out, so check the description box down below if you're interested in learning. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to leave your questions down below.